Captain Deho stood on the bridge of the human warship Silent Thunder. His hands rested on the metal rail as he watched the stars through the big window. Space looked peaceful out there, but Deho knew better. He had been a captain for 20 years. He knew that danger could hide anywhere in the dark. "Captain," said Commander Sujin from her seat near the control panels. "We are getting close to the outer rim. Should we slow down?" Deho nodded. The outer rim was the edge of human space. Beyond it lay unknown worlds and alien dangers. Their mission was simple: look for new planets and watch for threats. But something felt wrong today. Deho could not explain it, but his gut told him trouble was coming. "Yes, slow us down," he said. "And tell Dr. Haiwan to come to the bridge. I want her to see this." Dr. Haiwan arrived a few minutes later. She was young for a science officer, only 29 years old. But she was smart. Very smart. She knew more about alien life than anyone else on the ship. "What do you need, Captain?" she asked. "Look at those readings," Deho said, pointing to a screen. "What do you see?" Haiwan studied the data. Her face grew worried. "These energy patterns are strange. Very strange. I have never seen anything like this before." "Neither have I," said Sujin. "The computer cannot identify the source." Master Chief Taemin walked onto the bridge. He was a big man with scars on his face from many battles. He commanded the ship's Marines. "Captain, my men are feeling nervous. Something is making them uneasy." Deho trusted Taemin's instincts. Good soldiers could sense danger before computers could detect it. "What kind of nervous?" "The kind that means we should be ready for a fight," Taemin said. Suddenly, the ship's alarm started ringing. A young officer at the sensor station called out, "Captain, I am picking up massive energy readings. Something big is out there." "Show me," Deho ordered. The main screen changed. It showed a planet in the distance. But this planet was dying. Huge machines hung in space around it like metal spiders. Beams of bright light shot down from the machines to the planet's surface. As they watched, the green and blue world turned gray and black. "What are those machines doing?" Sujin asked. Dr. Haiwan's hands shook as she worked on her tablet. "They are draining the planet, all of it. The plants, the animals, even the air. Everything that lives is being sucked up into those machines." "Are there people down there?" Deho asked. "There were," Haiwan said quietly. "The scanners show empty cities. Millions of them. All dead now." The bridge fell silent. Everyone stared at the screen in horror. An entire world was being murdered, and they could only watch. "Captain," the sensor officer said, "I am picking up more signals. The machines are sending messages. Can you translate them?" Deho asked. "Working on it, sir." The officer's fingers flew over his controls. After a few minutes, he looked up. "Got it, sir. The messages are in multiple languages. Most are unknown, but some match old alien databases." "What do they say?" "They are talking about harvest quotas and energy collection. But there is something else. They mention Earth." Deho's blood turned cold. "What about Earth?" "Earth is on their list, sir. Along with all our colony worlds. They call us the short-lived vermin and say we will provide little resistance." Sujin stood up fast. "They are planning to attack humanity?" "It looks that way," the officer said. "According to their messages, they have done this before. Many times. They call themselves the Eternal Ones." Dr. Haiwan looked at her readings again. "Captain, these energy signatures suggest that the beings controlling those machines are very old. Maybe thousands of years old. Their technology is far beyond ours." "How far beyond?" Deho asked. "Those machines could destroy our entire fleet without breaking a sweat," she said. Taemin stepped forward. "What are our orders, Captain?" Deho thought hard. They were just one ship with 90 crew members. The enemy had weapons that could kill worlds. But Earth needed to know about this threat. "We need to get this information back to Earth," he said. "Prepare for—" The alarms rang again, louder this time. The sensor officer's face went white. "Captain, 3 large ships are approaching our position. They are huge. Each one is bigger than a space station." On the screen, 3 massive ships appeared. They looked like floating cities made of dark metal and glowing crystals. Energy weapons charged along their sides. "They have seen us," Sujin said. "Are they trying to talk to us?" Deho asked. "No, sir," the communications officer said. "They are just coming straight at us, fast." Dr. Haiwan studied her scanners. "Captain, those ships are putting out incredible amounts of energy. If they fire their weapons at it, we will be destroyed instantly," Sujin finished. Deho looked at his crew. These were good people. They had families back home. But someone had to warn Earth about the coming attack. All hands prepare for emergency jump, he ordered. We are getting out of here. Where to, sir? Asked the pilot, Jinwoo. He was young but skilled. Daeho looked at the star charts. There was one place the enemy might not follow them. It was dangerous, but it was their only chance. The Crimson Nebula, he said. Sujin's eyes went wide. Captain, no one has ever come back from that nebula. Which is exactly why we are going there, Daeho said. If we cannot come back, maybe the enemy cannot follow us in. But sir, Jinwoo said, the radiation in that nebula will damage our ship. Better damaged than destroyed, Daeho replied. Besides, someone has to warn Earth. We cannot do that if we are dead. The enemy ships were getting closer. Energy weapons began to glow brighter on their hulls. Jinwoo, execute the jump now. Yes, sir. The Silent Thunder's engines roared to life. Space twisted around them as they prepared to jump to faster-than-light speed. Just as the enemy weapons fired, the human ship disappeared into hyperspace. Behind them, 3 beams of deadly energy hit empty space where the Silent Thunder had been just seconds before. As the ship raced through hyperspace toward the dangerous nebula, Daeho stood quietly on the bridge. He knew their troubles were just beginning. The enemy was real, they were powerful, and they were coming for Earth. But humans had one thing the enemy did not expect. They had the will to fight even when the odds were impossible. The Eternal Ones thought humans were weak because they did not live forever. They were about to learn how wrong they were. The Silent Thunder shook as it dropped out of hyperspace. Red clouds filled the windows, glowing like fire in the darkness of space. The Crimson Nebula stretched out around them, beautiful and deadly. Damage report, Captain Daeho called out. Engineer Boram's voice came over the speakers from the engine room. The jump drive is damaged, Captain. Those energy beams hit us just as we entered hyperspace. I need at least 6 hours to fix it. What about the rest of the ship? Sujin asked. Main power is at 70%, Boram replied. Life support is stable, but our shields are weak. The radiation from this nebula is not helping. Dr. Haiwan looked at her scanner readings. The nebula is interfering with our sensors, too. We can see about 2 kilometers in any direction. After that, everything is just red clouds. Pilot Jinwoo turned from his controls. The good news is that if we cannot see out, nothing can see in. We should be safe from those alien ships. Do not count on it, Master Chief Taemin said. He was cleaning his rifle, a habit he had when he was worried. If those beings are as old and smart as Dr. Haiwan thinks, they might have ways to track us. Daeho walked to the main screen and stared into the red clouds. How long before we can contact Earth? The nebula is blocking all communications, said Communications Officer Young-soo. He was new to the crew, only 27 years old, but he was good with alien technology. I might be able to boost the signal, but it will take time. Do what you can, Daeho said. Earth needs to know what is coming. Medic So Young entered the bridge carrying a medical scanner. Captain, I need to check everyone for radiation exposure. This nebula is not safe for humans. As So Young checked the crew, Dr. Haiwan made an interesting discovery. Captain, I am picking up something strange. Metal objects floating in the nebula. They look like ship parts. Ship parts? Sujin asked. Old ones, very old. And there are a lot of them. Daeho looked at the readings. Could they be from ships that got lost in here? Maybe, Haiwan said. But some of these pieces are huge. Much bigger than our ship. And the metal is not from any human technology I know. Jinwoo spoke up from his pilot seat. Captain, I could fly us closer to get a better look. The nebula might hide us from sensors, but it also makes flying dangerous. Do it carefully, Daeho ordered. Very carefully. The Silent Thunder moved slowly through the red clouds. Soon dark shapes began to appear in the distance. As they got closer, the crew could see what Dr. Haiwan had found. It was a graveyard of spaceships. Hundreds of alien vessels floated dead in the nebula. Some were small like fighters. Others were massive warships bigger than anything humans had ever built. All of them were broken and empty. This is incredible, Haiwan whispered. These ships are from dozens of different species. Look at the different designs and materials. Sujin studied the largest ship on the screen. What happened to them all? Look at the damage patterns, Taemin said. He had seen enough destroyed ships to know weapons damage when he saw it. They were all destroyed by the same type of weapons. Energy beams that cut through metal like it was paper. The same weapons we saw on those alien harvesting machines, Daeho realized. This was a battle, Haiwan said. excitement in her voice. All these different species came here to fight together against the Eternal Ones, and they all lost. Young-Soo looked up from his communication equipment. "Captain, I am picking up a weak signal from one of the larger ships. It might still have power. Can you translate it?" "Working on it." Young-Soo's fingers moved fast over his controls. It is an automated message. Very old, it says, "Warning to all who find this place. The harvest ships come every 1,000 years. We tried to stop them. We failed. Learn from our mistakes." The bridge fell quiet. Everyone understood what they were looking at. This was the remains of an alliance that had tried to do exactly what humanity needed to do now. Boram's voice came over the speakers again. "Captain, I have been looking at the energy readings from some of these wrecked ships. Their technology is much more advanced than ours. If I could study some of their parts..." "What are you thinking, Boram?" Taeho asked. "I might be able to upgrade our ship, make us stronger, maybe strong enough to have a chance against those alien weapons." Sujin looked worried. "Is that safe? We do not understand their technology." "It is not safe," Boram admitted. "But staying weak is not safe either. If we are going to fight these Eternal Ones, we need every advantage we can get." Dr. Haiwan was studying her readings more carefully. "Captain, I think I found something important. That large ship over there has some kind of data storage system still working. If we could access it, we might learn how to fight them," Taeho finished. Taemin stood up. "Captain, request permission to take a team over to that ship. If there is useful information or technology there, we need it. The radiation levels outside our ship are dangerous," So Young warned. "Anyone going over there will need full protective suits." "My Marines can handle it," Taemin said. "We have done dangerous missions before." Taeho thought about it. They were already taking a huge risk by hiding in the nebula. But if they could learn something that would help Earth, do it, he decided. "Take Technician Hyun with you. She is good with alien computers. And take Sergeant Kyung-ho for extra security." "Yes, sir," Taemin said. As Taemin prepared his team, Dr. Haiwan made another discovery. "Captain, I found something else. There are some ships here that were not destroyed in battle. They look like they were abandoned on purpose." "Abandoned?" "Yes, as if their crews left them here for someone to find. The ships are damaged but not destroyed, and they are positioned in a pattern around the larger wrecks." Jinwoo looked at the pattern on his navigation screen. "It looks like they were trying to protect something." "Or hide it." "Hide what?" Sujin asked. Before anyone could answer, the ship's alarm started ringing again. Young-Soo looked up from his station with fear in his eyes. "Captain, I am picking up 3 large energy signatures entering the nebula. They are the same type we saw before." "The alien ships followed us," Sujin said. "How is that possible?" Haiwan asked. "The nebula should block their sensors." "They are old and smart," Taeho said grimly. "They probably have technology we cannot imagine." The red clouds around them began to glow brighter as the enemy ships moved through the nebula. Their energy weapons were charging. "They are hunting us," Taemin said. "Can we hide among the wrecked ships?" Jinwoo asked. "Maybe," Taeho said. "Jinwoo, take us deeper into the graveyard. Turn off all non-essential systems. Maybe they will think we are just another dead ship." "What about the away team?" Sujin asked. Taeho looked at the screen showing the approaching enemy ships. "They will have to work fast. Taemin, get to that alien ship and find whatever information you can. We may not get another chance." "Understood, Captain." As the silent thunder powered down and drifted among the ancient wrecks, Taeho wondered if they had made the right choice. They were surrounded by the remains of species that had tried to fight the Eternal Ones and failed. But humans were different. They had to be different. Because if they were not, Earth would end up just like all the dead worlds they had seen. The hunt was about to begin. Master Chief Taemin floated through space in his protective suit. Behind him, Technician Han and Sergeant Kyung-ho followed carefully. The alien ship they were approaching was huge, bigger than 3 human destroyers put together. Its dark metal hull was covered with strange symbols that glowed faintly in the red light of the nebula. "This ship is incredible," Hyun said over the radio. Her voice was full of wonder. "Look at how smooth the hull is. And those symbols are not just decorations. They are part of the ship's computer system." "Stay focused," Taemin warned. "We do not know what is still working in there." They found an opening in the ship's side where the hull had been damaged. Inside, the corridors were dark and silent. Their helmet lights cut through the darkness as they moved deeper into the ship. The gravity generators are still working, Kyung-ho noted. His feet touched the floor as they passed through an airlock. So is the life support, Hyun added, checking her scanner. But there is no one alive in here. This ship has been empty for a long time. They reached what looked like the bridge. It was different from human ship designs. The walls were covered with crystal panels that pulsed with soft light. In the center of the room was a large chair made of the same crystal material. This is their command center, Taemin said. Hyun, can you access their computers? I think so. Hyun approached one of the crystal panels. When she touched it, the crystals began to glow brighter. The system is responding. It recognizes that I am not the original crew, but it is allowing access anyway. Why would it do that? Kyung-ho asked. Maybe they wanted someone to find this information, Hyun said. Her hands moved over the crystal surface and symbols began to appear in the air above the panel. I am getting a translation program to work. Give me a minute. While Hyun worked, Taemin explored the bridge. He found something that made his blood run cold. In one corner of the room were several skeletons. They were not human, but they had died fighting. Weapons were still clutched in their bony hands. They made their last stand here, he said quietly. Got it, Hyun called out. The computer is working. And Master Chief, you need to see this. The air above the crystal panel filled with images. They showed a beautiful blue and green world, much like Earth. Then the images changed, showing the same world under attack by the familiar harvesting machines. This was their home world, Hyun explained. The species that built this ship were called the Corvani. They fought the Eternal Ones for over 200 years. The images continued. They showed space battles between Corvani ships and the crystal vessels of the Eternal Ones. The Corvani were brave and clever, but they were losing. How did they last so long? Kyung-ho asked. They learned something important, Ha-un said, reading the data. The Eternal Ones are not really immortal. They steal life energy from other species to keep themselves alive. Without that stolen energy, they can die just like anyone else. They found a way to disrupt the energy theft? Taemin asked. They were working on it, but they ran out of time. Ha-un's voice grew sad as she read more data. In the end, they decided to make one last attack. They brought all their remaining ships here to this nebula and tried to build a weapon that could permanently stop the Eternal Ones. Did they succeed? They came close, very close, but the Eternal Ones found them before they could finish the weapon. Back on the Silent Thunder, Captain Daeho watched his screens carefully. The 3 alien ships were moving through the nebula, searching for them. Their energy beams swept back and forth, checking each piece of wreckage. They are being very thorough, Sujin observed. They know we are here somewhere. Dr. Hyewan was studying the alien ships with her sensors. Captain, I am learning a lot just by watching them. Their energy signatures are different from what I expected. Different how? They are not entirely technological. There is something organic about their energy patterns, as if the ships themselves are partly alive. Living ships? Jin Woo asked from his pilot seat. More like ships with living energy beings controlling them. Hyewan explained. The Eternal Ones might not have physical bodies like we do. They could be pure energy that inhabits crystal technology. Engineer Boram's voice came over the speakers from the engine room. Captain? While our guests have been exploring, I have been studying the wreckage around us. I think I can upgrade our weapons and shields using parts from these old ships. How long would that take? Daeho asked. 6 hours minimum, maybe more. We might not have 6 hours, Sujin warned, watching the enemy ships get closer. Suddenly, something unexpected happened. The wrecked ships around them began to wake up. Lights appeared on their hulls and energy readings spiked on the Silent Thunder sensors. What is happening? Daeho demanded. The alien ships in the graveyard are powering up, Dr. Hyewan said in amazement. But that should be impossible. They have been dead for thousands of years. On the main screen, they watched as the ancient ships slowly came to life. Not all of them, but enough to create an impressive sight. Energy weapons began to charge on ships that had been dark for millennia. They are automated defense systems, Young-soo said, reading the signals. The presence of the Eternal Ones has triggered some kind of final program. The ghost ships began to move. They were slow and damaged, but they were still dangerous. The 3 alien ships hunting the Silent Thunder suddenly found themselves under attack from all directions. The dead are fighting back, Jinwoo whispered. The battle was brief, but intense. The ghost ships were old and damaged, but there were many of them. The Eternal One's ships were forced to defend themselves instead of searching for the hidden human ship. This is our chance. Deho said. Taemin, get your team back here now. We need to move while the enemy is distracted. Copy that, Captain, Taemin's voice came back. We have what we came for. Haijin downloaded their entire database. Hurry, Sujin urged. Those ghost ships will not last long, she was right. The ancient ships were being destroyed one by the superior firepower of the Eternal Ones. But they had bought the humans precious time. As Taemin's team raced back to the Silent Thunder, Hayun made one more discovery in the alien computer. Master Chief, there is something else here. The Corvani left instructions. They knew someone would find this place eventually. What kind of instructions? How to finish their weapon. They could not complete it themselves, but they left all the technical data. If someone with the right skills found it, they could finish what the Corvani started. Taemin finished. The three humans made it back to their ship just as the last of the ghost ships was destroyed. The Eternal Ones turned their attention back to searching for the Silent Thunder. Jinwoo, get us out of here, Deho ordered. Use the wreckage as cover. Where to, Captain? Deho thought quickly. They had valuable information now, but they needed time to study it and upgrade their ship. Take us deeper into the nebula. Find somewhere we can hide and work. As the Silent Thunder moved away from the graveyard, Dr. Haiwan made contact with one of the ghost ships before it shut down completely. The artificial intelligence that had controlled it spoke to her in broken words. You are not them, the AI said. You fight them? Yes, Haiwan replied. We want to stop them from hurting more people. Good. We leave gift for you. Use it well, and their harvest forever. The AI uploaded something to the Silent Thunder's computers before the ghost ship went dark forever. When Haiwan examined the data, her eyes went wide. Captain, she called out, you need to see this. The ghost ship AI just gave us something incredible. What is it? The location of a hidden facility deeper in the nebula. The Corvani built it as their final laboratory. If it is still there, it might have everything we need to build the weapon they never finished. Deho looked at his crew. They were tired and scared, but they were also determined. They had come further than anyone before them in the fight against the Eternal Ones. Set course for the coordinates, he ordered. It is time to finish what the Corvani started. Behind them, the three alien ships continued their search through the wreckage. They had no idea that their prey was already moving toward the one place that could end their reign of terror forever. The hunt was about to become a race against time. The hidden Corvani facility hung in space like a dark metal flower. Its 5 arms stretched out from a central core, each one bigger than the Silent Thunder. Ancient lights pulsed along its surface, showing that some systems still worked after thousands of years. It is beautiful, Dr. Haiwan whispered as they approached, and completely hidden from sensors. The nebula's radiation creates a perfect shield around it. Captain Deho studied the structure on the main screen. Any signs of life? No biological signatures, Haiwan reported. But there are active computer systems throughout the facility. The Corvani built this place to last. Engineer Boram's voice came over the speakers. Captain, I am reading massive energy storage systems in that facility. If we could tap into them, we could power our ship for months. Or power a weapon capable of stopping the Eternal Ones. Technician Hayun added. She had been studying the data they recovered from the ghost ship. According to these files, the Corvani were close to completing something they called the Consciousness Disruptor. What does it do? Commander Sujin asked. It targets the energy patterns that the Eternal Ones use to maintain their existence, Haun explained. Instead of just destroying their ships, it would destroy their ability to steal life energy from other species. Master Chief Taemin looked up from his weapon maintenance. Sounds too good to be true. What is the catch? The catch is that someone has to manually calibrate the weapon, Haun said quietly. The process requires a living consciousness to interface directly with the targeting system, and the energy feedback will probably kill whoever does it. The bridge fell silent. Everyone understood what that meant. Using the weapon would require someone to sacrifice their life. Let us worry about that when we get there, Deho said. First, we need to see if the facility still works. Jinwoo, take us to the docking port. Pilot Jinwoo carefully guided the Silent Thunder toward one of the facility's arms. The docking procedure was smooth, as if the ancient systems were designed to accept visitors. Docking complete, Jinwoo reported. The facility is pressurized and has atmosphere. The Corvani must have expected someone to find this place eventually. Daeho selected a team to explore the facility. Along with himself, he chose Sujin, Hyewan, Hayun, and Taemin. The rest of you stay on the ship and keep watch. Those alien ships are still out there somewhere. The airlock opened to reveal corridors filled with soft blue light. The walls were covered with the same crystal technology they had seen on the ghost ship, but here everything was perfect and undamaged. The air is clean, Dr. Hyewan said, checking her scanner. We can remove our helmets if we want. They moved deeper into the facility, following Ha-un as she used the downloaded maps to guide them. The corridors were wide and tall, built for beings larger than humans. Along the walls, crystal panels displayed images of the Corvani and their civilization. They were peaceful people, Hyewan observed, studying the images. Farmers, artists, scientists. They never wanted to fight anyone. But they learned how when they had to, Taemin said. He recognized the look of determined warriors in some of the later images. They reached the central laboratory and everyone stopped in amazement. The room was enormous with a ceiling that disappeared into darkness above. In the center stood a machine unlike anything they had ever seen. It looked like a crystal tree made of pure energy, its branches reaching up toward the ceiling. The consciousness disruptor, Ha-un breathed. It is real. Is it finished? Sujin asked. Ha-un approached the machine and placed her hands on a control panel. Information flowed across the crystal surfaces as the ancient computer systems responded to her touch. Almost, she said after several minutes of study. They completed about 90% of the work. But there are some crucial components missing. What kind of components? Daeho asked, focusing crystals. The weapon needs them to target the specific energy frequencies that the Eternal Ones use. Without them, the disruptor would just be a big energy blast that would not hurt our enemies. Dr. Hyewan was studying her scanner readings. Where would we find crystals like that? From the enemy ships themselves, Ha-un said. The Eternal Ones use the same crystal technology for their consciousness transfer systems. If we could get samples from their ships, we could complete the weapon, Sujin finished. Taemin shook his head. Getting close enough to take samples from those ships would be suicide. Their weapons would destroy us before we got within a kilometer. Not necessarily, said a new voice. Everyone turned to see Engineer Boram entering the laboratory. She had her tablet in one hand and looked excited. Boram, you were supposed to stay on the ship, Daeho said. Sorry, Captain, but I had to see this place. And I think I have an idea. She held up her tablet, which showed technical diagrams. While you were exploring, I was studying the Silent Thunder's systems. With the power available from this facility, I could modify our ship in ways that would make it much harder to detect and destroy. What kind of modifications? Sujin asked. Stealth systems based on Corvani technology. Energy shields that could absorb enemy fire instead of just deflecting it. And most importantly, a way to get close to the enemy ships without them knowing we are there. Dr. Hyewan looked skeptical. How close? Close enough to beam a small team directly onto one of their ships, Boram said. The Corvani built transporter technology that could penetrate energy shields. If we could modify it for human use, we could steal the crystals we need, Taemin said. He was already thinking like a soldier planning a dangerous mission. It would be incredibly risky, Sujin warned. If anything went wrong, the team would be trapped on an enemy ship with no way home. Everything we do from now on will be risky, Daeho said. The question is whether the risk is worth the potential reward. Hayun was studying the weapon system more carefully. Captain, there is something else. Even if we get the crystals and complete the weapon, we still need a way to power it. The energy requirements are enormous. How enormous? Boram asked. Enough to drain the life support from our ship. Maybe enough to kill everyone aboard when the weapon fires. The team looked at each other. The consciousness disruptor could end the threat of the Eternal Ones forever, but using it might cost them their lives. There has to be another way, Sujin said. Maybe there is, Boram said thoughtfully. What if we do not power the weapon from our ship? What if we use the facility's power systems and broadcast the weapon's effect through the nebula itself? Is that possible? Daeho asked. The Corvani were working on something similar when they were interrupted, Hayun said, reading more files. They called it the network solution. Instead of building one massive weapon, they wanted to create a network of smaller devices that could work together. Dr. Hyewan's eyes lit up with understanding. The ghost ships. They still have some power left. If we could link them to this facility, we could turn the entire nebula into a weapon, Boram finished. Suddenly, alarms began ringing throughout the facility. The crystal panels flashed red, and a computer voice spoke in the Corvani language. "What is it saying?" Deho demanded. Hayun listened to the translation coming through her tablet. "Warning, energy signatures detected. Harvest ships approaching. All personnel to combat stations." "They found us," Sujin said. The team ran to the nearest window and looked out into the nebula. In the distance, 3 points of light were moving toward the facility. The Eternal Ones had finally tracked them down. "How much time do we have?" Taemin asked. "Maybe an hour before they get here." Jinwoo's voice came over their radios from the ship. "Captain, they are moving slowly and scanning everything. But they are definitely coming this way." Deho looked at his team. They had found the weapon that could save humanity, but they did not have time to complete it properly. They would have to make do with what they had. "Boram, how long to upgrade the ship with the modifications you mentioned?" 30 minutes if I push hard and get help." "Do it." "Take whoever you need from the crew." Sujin, work with Hayun to prepare the weapon for firing. Even if it is not complete, maybe we can damage their ships enough to escape. "What about the crystals?" Taemin asked. Deho looked out at the approaching enemy ships. "We will have to get them the hard way." During the battle, as the team split up to begin their desperate preparations, Dr. Haiwan made one more discovery in the Corvani database. "Captain," she called out, "there is a message here. A final message from the Corvani commander who built this place." "What does it say?" Haiwan read the translation. "To whoever finds this place, we failed to stop the harvest, but we give you the tools to succeed. The Eternal Ones believe they cannot be defeated because they do not understand sacrifice. Show them what it means to fight for something greater than yourself. End their reign of terror. Make our deaths have meaning." The message was signed by someone named Commander Veltar of the Corvani Defense Force. "They are counting on us," Deho said quietly. "All of them. Every species the Eternal Ones have destroyed. The race against time had begun. In less than an hour, they would face an enemy that had ruled the galaxy for 50,000 years. But for the first time in all those years, that enemy would face opponents who understood the power of sacrifice. The final battle was about to begin. The 3 ships of the Eternal Ones approached the hidden facility like dark angels of death. Each vessel pulsed with ancient power, their crystal hulls glowing with the stolen life energy of 1,000 dead worlds. On the bridge of the largest ship, Lord Executor Nalthrak studied the readings with growing interest. He had lived for 12,000 years and had overseen the harvest of countless civilizations. Never before had prey led him on such a chase. These humans were proving more resourceful than expected. "The facility is confirmed to be of Corvani origin," reported his second-in-command. "It should have been destroyed millennia ago." "The Corvani were always clever," Nalthrak said, his voice like wind through crystal caves. "They came closer than any species to actually threatening us. Perhaps these humans have learned from their failures. Shall we destroy the facility immediately?" "No, I want to see what they have discovered. If the humans have found Corvani technology, we must ensure it is completely eliminated this time." On the Silent Thunder, Captain Deho watched the enemy ships approach while Engineer Boram worked frantically to complete her modifications. The ship now looked different, with new crystal components grafted onto its hull and energy conduits running along its sides. "Modifications complete," Boram announced over the ship's speakers. "We now have Corvani stealth systems and shield generators. Plus the transporter system is online. Will it work?" Commander Sujin asked. "Only one way to find out," Boram replied. "But Captain, there is something you need to know. The modifications require a lot of power. I had to connect them directly to our life support systems." "What does that mean?" "It means if we use all these new systems at once, we might run out of air in about 20 minutes. Dr. Haiwan looked up from her station. 20 minutes to save the galaxy. No pressure at all. Master Chief Taemin entered the bridge carrying a bag of equipment. "Captain, I volunteer to lead the boarding team to get those crystals. Take Sergeant Kyung-ho and Technician Ha-Yun with me." "It is too dangerous," Sujin protested. "If something goes wrong, then you fire the weapon anyway," Taemin said firmly. "Even without the focusing crystals, it might do some damage. Better to try and fail than to not try at all." Deho nodded. "Do it, but be fast. We cannot maintain stealth for long with these power requirements." "Activating stealth systems now." Boram announced. The silent thunder seemed to fade from existence. On the enemy ship's sensors, it simply disappeared. Stealth is working, pilot Jinwoo reported. They cannot see us. Take us toward the lead ship, Daeho ordered. And Jinwoo, fly like your life depends on it, because it does. The human ship moved silently through space, invisible to the powerful sensors of the Eternal Ones. As they got closer to the enemy vessel, everyone could see how massive it really was. The alien ship was like a floating city made of dark crystal and metal. Transporter ready, Hyun reported. I have located what looks like their main crystal chamber. The energy readings are off the charts. That is where their consciousness transfer system will be, Dr. Haiwan added. If we can get samples from there, we will have what we need, Taemin finished. He checked his weapons one more time. Beam us over. 3 columns of light appeared on the bridge, and then Taemin, Kyungho, and Ha-un were gone. They materialized in a corridor that looked like the inside of a giant crystal. Everything around them pulsed with energy, and strange symbols flowed along the walls like living text. This place feels alive, Kyungho whispered. It is alive, Ha-un said, checking her scanner. The entire ship is a hybrid of technology and consciousness. The Eternal Ones do not just pilot these ships. They are part of them. They moved carefully through the corridors, following Ha-un's scanner toward the main crystal chamber. The ship around them hummed with power, and occasionally they heard sounds that might have been voices speaking in a language older than human civilization. Movement ahead, Taemin warned. Raising his rifle, a figure appeared in the corridor in front of them. It looked like a human at first, but as it got closer they could see it was wrong. The skin was too pale, the eyes glowed with inner light, and it moved without making any sound. Servant creature, Ha-un identified. The Eternal Ones create them from the life energy they steal. It still looks like whatever species it used to be, but its mind belongs to them now. The creature spoke in a voice that sounded like multiple people talking at once. Intruders, you do not belong here. Surrender your life energy and join the eternal harvest. I do not think so, Taemin said, and shot it. The creature dissolved into sparkling energy that faded away quickly. But alarms began ringing throughout the ship. They know we are here now, Kyungho said. Then we move fast, Taemin ordered. Ha-in, which way? This way. The crystal chamber is just ahead. They ran through corridors that began to shift and change around them as the ship's consciousness tried to trap them. Walls moved, floors tilted, and new passages opened and closed like breathing. Finally, they reached their destination. The crystal chamber was a huge room filled with floating crystals of every size and color. Each crystal pulsed with trapped consciousness, the stolen life energy of countless beings. This is horrible, Kyungho said, staring at the crystals. Each one of those is someone who used to be alive. And they are all trapped in there forever, Ha-un added, her voice full of anger. The Eternal Ones do not just kill people, they steal their souls. Taemin began grabbing crystals and putting them in his bag. Then let us make sure this ends today. Get what we need and get out. But as they collected the crystals, something unexpected happened. The crystals began to glow brighter and voices started speaking from them. Thousands of voices, all speaking at once in languages from across the galaxy. Free us, the voices pleaded. End the harvest. Stop the stealing of life. We hear you, Hyun said to the crystals. We are trying to help. Suddenly, Lord Executor Nalthrak himself appeared in the chamber. He was tall and thin, with skin that looked like living crystal and eyes that burned with stolen fire. So, he said in a voice like breaking glass, the short-lived vermin have found the Corvani facility. How amusing. Do you really think you can succeed where so many others have failed? Taemin pointed his rifle at the alien leader. We are about to find out, Nalthrak laughed. Your weapons cannot harm me, little creature. I have absorbed the life force of entire species. I am beyond your ability to hurt. Maybe, Taemin said, but I bet you are not beyond this. He threw a grenade at the base of the largest crystal formation. The explosion sent crystal fragments flying everywhere, and thousands of trapped voices cried out at once. What have you done? Nalthrak screamed. Freed some of your prisoners, Taemin replied. Hyun Kyungho, we are leaving now. They activated their emergency transporters just as Nalthrak unleashed a wave of energy that would have killed them instantly. They materialized back on the silent thunder just as the enemy ship began firing its weapons at the hidden facility. Did you get them? Dr. Haiwan asked urgently. Got them, Taman confirmed, holding up his bag of crystals. And I think we made the big boss angry. Good, Captain Deho said. Angry enemies make mistakes. Boram, get us back to the facility. It is time to finish this. The Silent Thunder raced back toward the Corvani facility as the 3 enemy ships unleashed their full firepower on it. But the ancient structure was stronger than it looked. Its shields held against the attack, though they were weakening fast. We have maybe 5 minutes before those shields fail, Jinwoo reported. That will have to be enough, Deho said. Haon, get those crystals to the weapon chamber. Dr. Haiwan, prepare to activate the consciousness disruptor. As the team raced through the facility's corridors, Engineer Boram made a difficult decision. She stayed behind in the power core chamber, knowing what she had to do. Captain, she said over the radio, the weapon needs more power than the facility can provide. I am going to overload our ship's reactor and channel it through the facility's power grid. Boram, that will kill you, Sujin protested. I know, Boram said calmly, but it will also give the weapon enough power to reach every Eternal One in the galaxy through their consciousness network. My life for the freedom of the entire galaxy. That seems like a fair trade. In the weapon chamber, Ha-Un worked frantically to install the stolen crystals into the consciousness disruptor. As each crystal locked into place, the machine grew brighter and more powerful. It is working, she announced. The weapon is coming online. Dr. Haiwan studied the readings. I am detecting the consciousness network. Every Eternal One is connected to every other one through quantum entanglement. If we fire the disruptor into that network, it will hit all of them at once, Deho realized. No matter where they are in the galaxy. But someone still has to manually calibrate the targeting system, Ha-Un reminded them. And the person who does it will not survive the process. Captain Deho stepped forward. I will do it. No, Sujin said firmly. You are needed to command the ship. I will do it. Actually, Dr. Haiwan said quietly, it should be me. I understand their biology better than anyone. I have the best chance of making sure the weapon works properly. Before anyone could argue, the facility shook as the enemy weapons broke through the outer shields. Cracks appeared in the walls and